Could it be that this place is about to be engulfed by darkness? Why else must we depart before the sky surrenders to nightfall? Mu Qingdai's voice trembled with unease. Qin Mu merely shook his head, offering no explanation, his eyes scanning the heavens with the calm of a seasoned cultivator. Outside the divine hall, the disciples waited in tense silence. In an instant, the sky dulled, shadows crawling over its expanse, and a faint rumble of thunder whispered from afar. Qin Mu lifted his gaze, beholding the once clear firmament, now shrouded beneath a dense mantle of dark clouds. Winter's chill held dominion, and thunder was a rare visitor. Yet here, storm and foreboding conspired above them. The clouds thickened, swallowing the sky, and a torrential rain began to hammer the hall's roof. All hurried beneath the eaves, shielding themselves from the icy deluge. Even the dozen flood dragons coiled around the bronze pillars, seeking refuge from the storm's wrath, while the dragon Qilin slumbered at the entrance, safe from the rain's reach. The buck, mischievous and audacious, nudged the dragon Qilin aside with its horns, claiming the spot for itself. The drenched dragon Qilin bellowed in rage, advancing with jaws agape, yet the buck stood firm, hooves braced, horns quivering like coiled steel, ready to strike. Steam rose from the drenched ground, and Long Yu scooped a handful of the falling water, astonishment in his voice. The water? It burns. Qin Mu's heart stirred. He extended his hands. Indeed, the rain was scalding, as if the heavens themselves poured molten streams. Instantly, his vital qi surged, splitting the torrential rain, redirecting it from his body as he stepped onto the open terrace. Above, the sky had grown pitch black, lightning slashing across the clouds, thunder rolling like drums of war from 1,000 miles away, racing past in blinding bursts. This was no ordinary storm. Its fury was martial, alive with an unearthly energy. Wang Moran and the others emerged, their eyes wide, witnessing lightning intertwining in the dark, slicing and scorching the very air. The rain grew hotter, oppressive, almost tangible with power. There is something amiss in the heavens. Fatty Dragon, release the buck. Qin Mu commanded. The dragon Qilin obeyed, letting the buck slip free, only to trap it beneath his immovable weight, a living mountain of might. Thunder came more frequently now, like the pounding of a celestial war drum, while lightning morphed into rolling spheres, illuminating the chaos. Qin Mu's eyes pierced the layers of heaven, glimpsing figures darting through clouds, dueling with heavenly grace and ferocity. Wang Moran, Long Yu, and Mu Qingdai invoked their divine eyes, and cries of astonishment broke from them as the storm revealed its secrets. Suddenly, the dark clouds tore apart, unveiling a towering figure wielding twin knives, lightning dancing along their edges. "Grandpa Butcher!" Qin Mu exclaimed. The memory of the elder's madness, his terrifying swings in disabled elderly village, flashed in his mind. The figure leaped, slicing the sky with knives that ignited the clouds, the rainfall scorching ever hotter with their passage. From the rift in the storm, more figures emerged, converging upon Butcher. The rain hissed, boiling under the heat of their heavenly combat, the storm itself responding to their wrath. Majestic land descended from the clouds, mountains and rivers suspended in the air, colliding with the Eternal Peace Empire's domain. Mute's voice broke the awestruck silence. "That's right, it's Village Chief!" Qin Mu's nod was sharp, yet as the floating terrain recoiled, the mountains shattered. Village Chief's swordsmanship, formidable as ever, was broken. A colossal pillar descended from the heavens, not stone, but a swirling torrent of coiling water dragons, a spear of living water, forged by Grandpa Blind's hands, rare and terrifying in its power. Mute's expression remained solemn as he retreated into the hall, chest in hand, gesturing for Qin Mu to remain vigilant. Qin Mu, aware of the might of the flood dragons under him, nodded, his own qi surging in readiness. The blood flood dragons assembled, encircling the sacred grounds, their scale-shimmering forms braving the searing rain. Mute's footsteps struck like thunder, stone shattering beneath the weight of his presence, his chest revealing silver pellets of remarkable size, while his furnace ignited, flame licking the dark skies. The Emperor's disc flew to Qin Mu, who hung it solemnly, following Mute's silent orders to retreat, commanding the dragon Qilin into action. Spittle flew as it spat at the buck in righteous fury, Qin Mu's temper flaring at the waist. From the shadows emerged two colossal flood dragons, their heads like small mountains, claws and feet following, carrying a figure whose body reflected the storm's boiling wrath. Dragon-rearing sovereign appeared. Hair sparse, face blackened, eyes like lightning, cutting through the deluge to Mute's blazing furnace. "Do you dare block me?" His voice thundered, intent to seize the one who had wronged him. Yet the battle required patience. Chinmu popped his head forward, honesty in his tone. "Dragon Sovereign, it was I who burned your hair, but not with malice. The dragons were fed well, as you commanded. Later, your hair insulted your image, so I burned your 3,000 worries." Dragon-rearing Sovereign's gaze flickered, but he did not relent. The instant he looked away, a mortal strike could end him. His attention fixed on Mute's furnace, he sneered at the lineage that had birthed such relics. 2 flood dragons slithered up, coiling upon his arms, transforming into intricate mechanisms of armor, while 3 more wound around his waist and thighs. With a leap, he gripped the ground with claws like anchors, the former dragons beneath his feet transforming into mighty truncheons. Descendants of the ministry of works of the fake celestial heavens. Dragon-rearing Sovereign bellowed, body twisting with raw, barbaric strength, teeth bared, truncheons raised to strike Mute. "Prepare to die." Dragon-rearing Sovereign's form was no mere mortal flesh, but the corporeal embodiment of divinity itself. 5 dragons coiled around his body, each pulsating with vitality, while 2 surged as living weapons in his hands, multiplying his strength 1,000-fold. Though he had founded the Dragon Rider sect, the sect's disciples could only command exotic dragons and serpents. They could not borrow the very essence of dragons themselves. Only those versed in the secrets of dragon control could siphon the might of flood dragons into their own limbs. Yet the dragon-rearing scripture he left behind was incomplete. Even the copy in Chinmu's hands, richer than the sect's rendition, omitted the vital battle arts, the hidden stratagems concealed within the Sovereign's heart. When he wielded flood dragons as twin truncheons, the force unleashed was so immense that the eardrums of Chinmu and the others reverberated violently, deafening them for a heartbeat. The very air around was siphoned away, as if space itself had crumbled, leaving a vacuum in the hall. This was not the ordinary clash of masters. Chinmu had seen grand duels, watched cult masters fight, and witnessed eternal peace. Imperial Preceptor quell rebellion with divine force. Those strikes dispersed their power outward, a scattered rain of destruction. But dragon-rearing Sovereign's might folded inward, a concentrated cyclone of force that did not leak an ounce of power. Every strike was a symphony of absolute control, a beauty of strength only those who had devoted lifetimes to the path of power could comprehend. Within the palace hall, there was no time for admiration. The suction of air tore at their lungs, the pressure pressing against them with terrifying insistence. Their bodies stretched unnaturally, eyes and heart straining, blood and urine threatening to escape as the void yanked at them. They were hurled skyward toward the Sovereign's truncheons as if drawn by a deathly magnet. To be caught beneath those instruments would mean annihilation, their lives extinguished like ants underfoot. Chinmu's hand snatched the thick horn of the buck, the other grasping Mu Qingdai's wrist. Her sashes writhed and entwined long-used legs, who clutched Wang Muran in turn. The 4 of them, bound by the unyielding grip of fate, were dragged skyward. The buck's hooves scraped futilely against the floor, yet the pull was irresistible. With a roar, the creature clamped onto the dragon Chilin's tail, which growled in sharp agony, immovable against the surge of divine force. Boom! A titanic blast shook the world outside. Dragon-rearing Sovereign's strike collided with Mute, sending ripples through the very fabric of space. Chinmu and the others quivered violently, tossed midair as if lightning itself struck them, blood spurting from their mouths. The spatial distortions warped their bodies, wrenching their bones and viscera, testing the limits of mortal endurance. "Too powerful," the dragon Chilin bellowed. "I feel as if I might vomit." Then, blinding radiance erupted, a snow-white brilliance that scorched their vision. Even as darkness threatened to engulf all sight, tears streamed, and their pupil arts flared to shield their eyes. They struck the ground with pounding thuds, only to be lifted again by the following ripple, the earth beneath rising like a roiling sea. Chinmu and the dragon Chilin were flung repeatedly, colliding with ceiling and walls, yet the palaces of Granny Sea held fast, unyielding, unmoved, impenetrable. Even with their combined might, their bones ached against the indomitable structure, yet not a single crack marred the roof. Each collision piled them atop one another, Mu Qingdai at the bottom, Qin Mu and the others above, gasping for breath, every sinew screaming. Only by feeding the senior sister dragon saliva was she revived, a brief reprieve from the torturous ballet of force. Ripples 4 and 5 followed, gentler, yet every inch of their bodies had felt the wrath of a mortal strife. This was the fate of mortals against celestial combat. To endure, barely alive, the maelstroms of power beyond comprehension. Outside, cries echoed, strange, piercing. Qin Mu readied his golden flute, only to see blood flood dragons descending from the eaves, encircling them in a writhing crimson ring. The coiled dragons guarding the bronze pillars slithered down, their bodies tensing as sentinels. Inside, dread clung like a mist. These were no ordinary creatures. They were the progeny of godly blood, their potential rivaling the most sacred arts. Qin Mu had observed godly blood before, in the great ruins with Village Chief, in the Lone Mountain Ridge Root Demon, and in the aftermath of Imperial Preceptor's battle. Yet the true might of these flood dragons remained unknowable. With the piercing call of his flute, the controlled dragons leapt, intercepting the blood-borne horde. Dozens of adversaries were shredded into clouds of crimson mist, their power dwarfed by the trained creatures. Dragon-rearing Sovereign had nurtured for countless years. Outside, the roars subsided, leaving only the rhythm of rain and the haunting strains of Qin Mu's melody. Lightning split the sky, illuminating the hall in stark flashes, shadows dancing across every face. One by one, the flood dragons retreated, intimidated by a foe unseen, yet palpably fearsome. "Who waits outside?" Long Yu croaked. The sound of satin-like movement, followed by measured, heart-stopping steps, heralded a presence. Qin Mu's flute summoned the dragons to the ground, heads bowed in obedience. From the hall's entrance emerged a towering figure, formed purely of crimson blood. Dragon-rearing Sovereign stood, a living testament to divine might. The dragon Qilin's limbs slackened, unable to resist, sprawled on the floor in submission. Qin Mu's eyes twitched, recognizing the inherent dominance the Sovereign wielded over his own creations. Blood-red eyes fixed on him, teeth bared. The Sovereign's voice was a chilling decree. "The blacksmith you summoned is formidable, yet he cannot shield you. Little one, show me another honest smile." Qin Mu forced a grin and shouted, "Merely a pile of God's blood. Let us unite and shatter him." The challenge rang across the hall, a clarion call to face the embodiment of divine wrath.